Recording. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Down Under Mastermind call for the 12th of November. And this evening we have Brett and Megan on our call to let us know what they've been up to in the last year. It's all yours. Welcome.
Awesome. Thanks for having us.
Definitely.
And yeah, it's certainly, we'll just finish saying it's certainly been a journey the last 12 months. It's actually hard. We have to pinch ourselves sometimes and think the growth that we've had just in ourselves, more than even in our business, but in ourselves. In the last 12 months, it's quite phenomenal, really. And we have to put that down to just the association that we've been able to, to have throughout the year. Hey, so we thought our journey is probably a little bit different to some as far as the success that we've had in the year. And so we just wanted to kind of share where we're at, and we thought as well, coming off the back of the Black Retreat, we just, obviously when you come home from something like that, really full of energy and excitement and everything. So we didn't want to waste it. We thought it'd be a good time to share that with all of you, especially when some of you are making decisions about the next couple of weeks. So yeah, so we'll start with our how we got here, I guess. Who are we?
Yeah, well, I guess a brief, not War and Peace or anything, but a brief little outline about us for anyone who isn't too familiar. So we've been together for quite a long time, and now have 3 gorgeous kids, which we love more than bacon. And our eldest is not long turned 13, so we've got a teenager on our hands now.
We do.
But so we met quite young, and were quite interested in setting up our financial future going forward, and obviously knowing we'd eventually have children and things like that. And kind of set out in the traditional way of, get a good job, invest in property, do all those things that your parents sort of had learned from their parents, and a bit of an old school thinking, I guess, these days. But it wasn't too long into that I guess we realised that, we looked around and saw the people that we knew and the people that were near to us, that no one actually really gets that far in that path, like just trying to invest in property and maybe get a second or third property and set themselves up. No one really does much better than anyone else, And it was the realisation then that business is where it's at. People who really get somewhere, and they do it with a business. But we knew nothing about business, so what were we going to do, And but nonetheless, that's the direction we headed in, and commenced off with what was the first one? Direct sales.
Yeah, so I guess just to take one step back, like when we actually started having a family and dropped one income, that plan of investing definitely takes a bit of a
double your expenses and half the
backseat. So anyway, the first business that we had was actually in direct sales. So it was actually in Tupperware, and the reason we kind of want to frame kind of where we are now with some of the stuff we've done is because we've learned so much prior to coming into SFM through these things that we've really put into practice in the last year. That's not obvious at first. It was direct sales. We did quite well in that too. Really, really love people. I don't know, what you guys think, but we've always got a lot to say, either online or when you meet us. Like we love to share. We love just seeing other people thrive, and especially, being able to have a part in that is something that we've always enjoyed and always looked to do. So we did well in that, didn't we?
Yeah, I was just going to say it was not on a mediocre scale. It was kind of a large scale that we took, and it ended up being our primary source of income. for a period of time. But what we sort of realised as we went along was that we looked sort of down the track on the path we were heading and realised that it really wasn't going to take us where we wanted to go. And
which was where? They're probably going, where is that?
Well, where it was not to be like chained down and tied to a business which couldn't operate without us, and that we wouldn't really get any time off from or anything like that. That's where it was heading, and so we weren't afraid to change directions and change path, and we moved. What did we move into next?
So we sort of looked at the things that we'd learnt there, and obviously like done property before and that kind of thing. And we just really from that point started looking at developing ourselves, because there's a lot of skill sets that we'd kind of, obviously taken on. But we didn't really know what the next step was. So we spent quite a bit of money just doing a lot of different type of personal development things, and really starting to better ourselves, because that's the best way to provide value, is just to obviously become more yourself. But we eventually ended up having just a normal traditional brick and mortar business. We actually had two of them at the same time. So I'm a hairdresser by trade, which is probably another reason I have a lot to say. And so I always wanted to have my own salon, but again, we thought, well, if we have our own business, we'll have a little bit more say. But I mean, anyway, I'm sure there's some people on the call who've had businesses before. Like, you just end up buying yourself a job. You think you're going to be the boss and be able to run the show, but you just end up buying yourself a job, and that's essentially what we did. And it was kind of one of those things. It's like, okay, we've done that now. Like, what's next? And we've kind of been that way up until now, because we've just never been able to tick the boxes. And the biggest box is that, and this is something you haven't said, is that we're actually quite lucky in the fact that we actually are each other's best friend. We actually get along. Married him because I like him and love him. And we just don't get enough time together. Like, the kids grow up so fast, but then we're growing up as well. And, there's so much stuff we want to do. We're really big on experiences. We're not so big on having stuff, so to speak, but we're really big on experiencing life and getting the most out of every day and that kind of stuff. And everything we've done up until now is just not ticked that box, and that's the biggest one, isn't it?
It is. I guess the long and the short of it is we realised one of the best investments was to invest in yourself. So we certainly went on a bit of a personal development path from there, and we started to better ourselves and educate ourselves and teach ourselves, and we spent quite a bit of money doing it, courses and seminars and all sorts of things, but at the end of the day, like, I certainly don't regret any of it. It was so well worth the journey, and it's not a journey that ends. Obviously, it's ongoing and forever improving. So, but so we moved into a few other things because again, experienced the bricks and mortar, and we had one each, a business each, and it's lost my train of thought. What are you pointing at?
Sorry.
So where was I? Yeah, sorry. We moved on back into our a passion for real estate, and spent quite a bit of time educating ourselves in real estate, different methods and so forth of investing and whatnot. And it's a tough road as well. I guess anything is, you apply yourself to it, but exciting stuff.
Yeah, in a nutshell, like, we just very quickly realised that the only way we're going to get some real is if we get online and have money coming in while we're asleep. I mean, that's what people think they're going to do when they get into real estate, but then you have all the things that come along with that. So, and that's kind of where we got around.
I guess from that we learned about passive income and like Robert Kiyosaki and things like that, and earning money while we sleep. And I guess one of the first places we looked at that was by currency trading and trading online. And that's where we first came upon the idea that we could work from anywhere with an internet connection on a laptop. another tough road though. You've got to be pretty well educated, pretty savvy in those areas to perform well, I think. And we probably just to speed up here a little bit. We ended up taking a. I'll just throw in there. Actually, we ended up getting into network marketing by the end of all that, and learn a heck of a lot.
Mostly about ourselves.
And phenomenal on the educational side of things. That was one of the biggest areas of education I think that we had. But once again, we realised that we looked ahead and realised that we're heading in a direction that wasn't going to be in line with the things we wanted. So we're going along. We're trying to educate ourselves. We're looking for the things we want to tick the boxes. And by the end of all this, we put everything down, which stopped sort of most things that we were working on. We took quite a bit of a break. And in that period of time, we took a trip overseas to Vanuatu. My folks are actually living over there. We went over to see them and just unplug, I guess, get out of the rat race for a little while, chill out, remember what it's like to relax and slow down and even perhaps stop for a little bit. And it was when we were there, we were sitting on the beach one day, kids were playing in the water, and, you know, even just seeing them and how relaxed they were, probably because we were more relaxed, of course, and we were just chatting, sitting on the beach, and we said, geez, it'd be nice to be able to do this whenever we wanted. And we come back around to this idea of we need something online. We need to be able to do something online so we can be wherever we want to be and, you know, tick those boxes that we've been trying to tick for a fair period of time. And we started sort of chatting about different things that, you know, off the top of our head that we knew were online, things like eBay and drop shipping and that sort of thing. And but the conversation kind of ended there on that beach, I guess, and we enjoyed the rest of our trip and eventually headed home, and we hadn't really thought much more of it for quite a period of time. And then we've been home, I don't know, number of weeks, not really sure how long it was now. And you might want to pick up the story here about about what happened next.
I think when you do unplug and you really feel what it's like to have that peace, because we lived out of a suitcase for 2 weeks, 2 weeks. It was actually 2 suitcases for about 4 or 5 weeks, and there's 5 of us, and we didn't want for anything. You know, we just had each other. We had like all the feelings that we've been searching for. We're like, we've got the least amount of stuff we've ever had, and we're in this beautiful place, and like we wanted to keep that feeling. But when you get home, that feeling goes away pretty quickly. And I guess I just was like, you know what, there has to be something. And I literally like jumped on the computer one day and I just typed in like how to earn money online, like that was our keyword, how to earn money online, and came across Marie's Kid Spot ad, and pretty much the rest is history. I don't know what it was that jumped out at me that I just put in the email address and started watching the videos, and pretty much by the time Brett got home, I think it was the next day, the second video, I was like,
watch this video.
We're doing this. This is it. You've
got to see this.
He's like, oh no, not again. But you know, the biggest thing that stuck out for us was obviously they were talking about all of those feelings that we had while we were away. They talk about that in the video series, especially for the ones that have just watched it. You'll know like what having a business like this can give you, and that's exactly the conversation that we'd had. So obviously that resonated, but the other thing that really resonated was just how transparent that the boys were, you know, like
the authenticity that came through.
Yeah, like we just had never seen that before in anything that we'd done. You know, we always kind of felt like there was more, you know, to know, and you were just, the further you got into it, the deeper you got. And because you'd had so much time and money invested, you kind of felt like you should stay. And we just didn't feel like that when we came across this. You know, there's so much information in there. It's almost like you can you can take some of what they say and put it into practice without doing anything. And we signed up, and I mean, the rest is kind of obviously the journey so far. But I think the biggest thing that we've had going for us all along in all of that story is that we are all in type people. It's like we're either doing it or we're not. Like,
not much in between.
We're very much all in people. So we did really give it some thought. We got to the end of the 7 days, and we're like, if we're going to do this, we've got to be black, we've got to be where it's all happening and where the leaders are. It took us 2 years, I think, in network marketing before we got to that level where you find out what you really want to know, but we felt like we knew that stuff here. You know what I mean? Like we felt like we could see all of that up front, and so we were prepared to invest in that whole curriculum to get that now. And it's the best decision we ever made. It's not the decision for everyone, of course, but it's just like, that's just kind of that's half of people we are. So I guess we wanted to kind of fill you in on our story, because one of the things that we kind of struggled with at the start of our journey was coming up with our customer avatar. And I know, like, talking to a lot of people in the community, they kind of feel the same way. It's like, who do I target, that kind of thing. And we always love hearing other people's stories, because you get to know the type of people that actually are coming into the community and what sort of things they've done before and who they are as people. And it really makes it easier to kind of drill down and figure out who to target. So yeah.
I guess the point of what we said so far was that because of the road we'd travelled, and we had success in all those things that we did to a certain degree. But the point of that is that when we come to SFM, I think quite early, as Megan said, we realised that it ticked enough of all of the boxes that we've been trying to tick, and which is kind of why, along with doing things 100%, it's kind of why we made an early decision just to go straight to the black level. Eh?
Yeah. And so I mean, we sort of skipping ahead a little bit, like to what we've been up to in the last year. We definitely got started on the affiliate marketing path, as everyone does when you come in and kind of think that's the only road to go down. And we went down that road, and like, to be really transparent with you guys, we struggled. We really, really struggled. We're not what's the word? We're not stupid people, obviously, like well educated, but it was just so out of what anything that we'd done before, and we did struggle, not so much with the how-to stuff and the kind of putting things together, like we pretty quick learners, but we struggled to get that conversation going, and find the right people online to target, and to get the right kind of flow of conversation, which was really, really difficult for us, because we're quite good conversationalists, but to take that online and have that conversation in an ad or in a blog post or whatever, like, we really struggled with that. But we pushed through, and like, just to give you a bit of an idea on the dynamics of our kind of, home life. Brett works 6 days a week. He does 12, 14-hour days, between 12 and 14-hour days. And then we've got 3 awesome kids, but they are like all kids, they love our attention, and we give it to them. So the time that we have to spend on business together was also something that we struggled. So I've kind of taken the lead as far as building the business goes, and Brett is very much, the support and all of that kind of thing. So,
yeah, I guess what you're trying to say is we mastermind together, we strategize together,
but the implementing.
Megan does the hands-on side of things, building pages and websites and all that sort of thing, and keep the wheels turning.
Keep the wheels turning. That keeps the marketing budget coming in. But I want to tell you that because they're the few things that we've sort of struggled with initially, and so I guess the fact that we've had success, kind of, obviously, is that we've kind of found ways to push through those struggles. And we decided, we got invited to go over to the US to the Platinum Incubator again at Jay's place. And it's interesting because at that point in time, we sort of felt like not that we weren't worthy, but we were like, well, you know, we're not really getting results. Like, should we go? Brett's like, we're going. And I was like, okay. and the biggest thing was that we had to make a decision whether we sort of spent, you know, our was pretty much our marketing budget. Do we spend that going over there, or do we stay here and keep plugging in that money into our business? And it was a tough decision for me because I'm obviously the one like trying to put the rungs on the board, but like from where he stood was interesting because he had a different perspective, and he was like, no, like we need to go, we need to be in that room. It was more of a gut feeling than anything, and it stemmed from the experience that we had in Momentum Day, like we were saying last night. So if anyone wasn't on the call last night, we were just sharing how much we got out of being in Sydney. And it really just stemmed from that, wasn't it? That you were like, we have to go. And I'll tell you, it was interesting. Like making that decision and making that judgment call to go, we had to get really resourceful because it's not easy, like to, you know, come up, and it wasn't a lot of notice either. And I guess that's kind of something that we learned to do in the past, was just be resourceful when you wanted something. You just got to get it happening, right? And we swallowed some things and, you know, used some marketing budget, and we got over there.
We had a lot of different obstacles.
A lot of different obstacles to get over. I had to get holidays. But I tell you what, that was a massive turning point for us, because not only did we get to know the guys better, but we also got to go on that journey again, that platinum journey again, and really start to try to figure out, like, what is it that we're struggling with so much? Like, you know, why can't we transfer all the knowledge that we had outside in the offline world, in the traditional world, all the things that we've learned, what was holding us back from taking that same knowledge and using it online? And I think coming out of that event, we really started to figure out what it actually is that we want to share with the world. And I think we kind of get caught up a little bit sometimes in the marketing and selling SFM and you know, really just kind of putting yourself at the front of that funnel. But when you start leading with yourself and who you are, and really starting to figure out what gifts you have, and we all have strengths and we all have weaknesses, but when you start figuring out what your strengths are and you start leading with those, everything just becomes easier after that. And, you know, some of you might not have to go through that process like that we did. We tend to learn things the hard way. But that's okay. We've accepted that now. And, you know, but I guess that, like, when what the message is there is that if you dig really deep and you figure out exactly what it is that your strengths are and what it is that you can share that's unique to you, and you start leading with that, everything else just becomes easier. And kind of when we got back, we were completely wiped out financially. It was like drained the bank account. It's like starting all over again. But we started again with a really, really clear vision of what we were trying to create here, because it can't just be all about money, and it can't just be all about you know, getting ahead, so to speak. And when you get to know people in the community and start to hear their stories, like, everybody is here to give and share value. That's what comes across in the video series. You know, when you're going through those first few modules, and Stuart talks about creating value. You know, that it's true. And I guess that's kind of that shift that we had to make, isn't it?
You're on a roll here. Keep
Sorry.
going.
Okay, I'll keep talking. And so, yeah, so we had to get resourceful again when we got back. We had to, and we realised that that's a strength of ours, is is actually being resourceful.
I mean, resourceful. It was resourceful to get there in the first place.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, and so we had to get creative as well when we got back, because it's like, well, you know, we know what we want to do. Now we got to dig in. And so we decided, actually it was around the time we got back that the YouTube training came out as well.
Shortly after.
It was right when we got back. So we went through that and we thought, right, we love to talk. We'd done the 90-day video challenge by that stage as well. So we'd finished that. And Stuart even said to us while we were over there, he's like, you guys have got to keep doing video. You're great on video. We're like, okay. So we thought, right, we'll do the YouTube training.
Keen for YouTube.
Yeah, we thought we'll give, we decided on that path. And I think that's another big thing too, is we're trying to do a bit of everything before, even though they say not to do that. We didn't really know what we wanted to do, so we thought we'd try a little bit of everything. But once we kind of stuck to one thing, things got a lot more clearer. So we did that training, and here is where we're going with this. We built the website. Well, I built the website for YouTube, and that was a huge accomplishment for me personally, because Brett can attest to this, that I was not a technical person when we joined. I could barely send an attachment on an email. I would always have to ask him how to do everything. So to even get started in this was a big deal. But to build a website was just,
anything else we'd done in the past, like I looked after any of the OT stuff. So you kind of missed out on learning things like this.
Yeah, I just let him do it.
for that reason.
Too busy being a mum. So
you were forced into learning it.
Forced into learning it, yeah. And so we built that, and that's a testament to the training. The training in the back office. We just followed all the training, kept going over it.
And a testament to the community, because
and reached out.
Plenty of times reaching out, asking questions in the community to get answers, trying to figure out whatever we're trying to achieve.
And so so we built that, and here's what happened. We shared it with a few people, because I can't remember. I think it was Alex was saying last night about how you try and tell your friends what you're doing and try to share that, and they just don't get it. And you just end up not talking about it, Then the odd one will kind of ask you, like, how's it going? And
so a few people,
are you making any money yet?
A few people outside of SFM.
Yeah, so they asked us about it, and we went, oh, well, we've just built a website, and they're like, oh, wow, cool, and so we sort of showed them, and then some of them actually have businesses of their own, and what happened was they were like, oh, it's really good, like, can you help us?
Yeah, like, I need a decent website for my business.
And so we're like, I was like, oh, I just finished one, I don't really want to start anymore. But when an opportunity presents itself, you do one of two things. You either like run away, you can either do it or not do it, I guess. And
run away or towards it.
Run away or towards it, yeah.
The light bulb went off though, anyway.
Yeah, and we thought, well, we'll help a few people, and we did that. And then we thought, well, maybe we could, charge for this service and offer it to, like maybe some small business. I was going to some networking events with some of the other things that we did. So I kind of had some contacts, and I started talking about it a little bit, and lo and behold, we ended up with a couple of jobs out of it, and earned a little bit of money. We started building up that marketing budget. The whole time it was always just, we need to get resourceful, we need to bring marketing budget in, and things are going to come across your path that perhaps aren't what you think you want to do, but you've just got to, it's part of the journey, I guess, and you just never know where it's going to take you. And so what else happened was, I think if you've gone through the modules anytime soon, or if you remember, Stuart says, like, by the time you get to the end of the 5th module, like, was it 76 or 80% more than anyone else online using the internet. And it really is true, because when you start having conversations with people, and just be brave and start having conversations with people about what you've learned. We started talking a little bit about social media, like just questions that come up, and we just started answering some questions in these meetings.
And I guess that's where you started hearing yourself even. Like you start talking about these things and answering people's questions, and you start realizing how much you've learned.
Yeah.
And sorry, go.
Yeah, no, that's right. And so we just I realized how little people know. That was my point. You start they start asking you, they don't even know the difference between a page and a profile on Facebook, or a timeline and news feed. They start asking you these basic questions. I mean, I didn't know that either, but you forget that. I think you forget once you know this stuff that you didn't know it once either. And so start having these conversations with these business owners, and in a nutshell, we just went for it. We just put one foot in front of the other and decided that whatever was going to bring in extra cash right now to help us on our journey and be able to put back into our business, we would do it. And so that's kind of like, when was that? That was around May, June. And then obviously I also realized though that there's still a lot that I don't know. It's like they know that they figured out what they didn't know, but then I figured out what I didn't know, and I wanted to be able to really help them with the things that they're asking me, and the types of things they're asking. It's not that was difficult. It was just that I didn't want to get into a situation where I couldn't answer them. You know, all those little fears come up and all that kind of stuff. So I looked in the back office, and one thing that we noticed was that as much as it tells you how to set everything up and get everything going, it didn't really tell you then how to manage it, like how to actually manage not so much the blogs and the marketing and all that kind of stuff, but just the general day-to-day managing of yourself online. And again, got resourceful and started doing a little bit of research, and came across a couple of little, one little course in particular that taught you how to manage your social media, and then a couple of other little things that we actually got for free. Hey, just little PDFs and things, and we started educating ourselves on how to manage our social media better, because I do like being on there and chatting and everything, and it can be a distraction. I will admit those little red dots are very distracting, and I've got better at it now. When I first started, because I wasn't really on Facebook all that much before, but once you get in the community, it's really, really difficult sometimes to stay on task. So we kind of thought investing in that and learning that was going to be good for us, but also being able to share it. And so we've now got ourselves to the point where we've actually started our own social media agency, I guess you call it. We started helping businesses in our local area that we've connected with how to take advantage of their social media, and how to actually build a list, just basically sharing all the stuff that we know already that we've learned with them, because we figured that when we had our other businesses, our traditional business, even our network marketing business, if we knew what we knew now, having
the things we could have done with those businesses, with
we know that we would have done better, and perhaps found more customers, and perhaps gained more leverage from those businesses. And we're glad we don't have them anymore. But we know that we would have maybe got some of those boxes ticked that we couldn't tick with them, just by taking advantage of being online. And so we've just been sharing our knowledge with these businesses, and it's evolved many times in the last 4 months. We started out managing it for them, and kind of looking at charging a fee to do that, and I just thought about what that would look like on a day-to-day basis, and how distracting that would be from our end goal.
I guess once again, when you sort of look in the direction you're heading, and decide, hang on, where's this going? I'm not liking the end result, sort of thing. So hey, just change it up a bit. Make it something that's going to suit, your values, what you're after. Which is what we did.
And so now what we're doing is we're actually, instead of doing this stuff kind of one-on-one with business owners, we've actually started running some really small workshops with them, where we get them together for a number of hours, and we just kind of walk them through what they need to do, and how to actually communicate with their audience better online. And here's the really, really, really cool thing out of all of this. We are actually learning just as much as them, because when you start teaching something, you actually not only, like you said, realize how much you know, but you actually learn it better yourself. And we're getting much, much, much better at the things that we struggled with in the beginning, because we've started actually teaching it as well. It's like that whole be, do, teach.
And you've got to, I guess, at times remind yourself of the things that you'd learned and forgotten.
Yeah,
as
absolutely.
Just something comes up and it comes out. The knowledge comes out. So
that's kind of where we are now, and I guess we're really looking forward to meeting some of the people that we haven't met yet, and seeing the ones seeing the ones that we meeting the ones that we have, seeing the ones we saw last year as well. Yes, Robbie. I guess I don't know if anyone wants to ask us anything, or if there's any thing we can help with that. But I guess our story is a little bit, our journey so far has been a little bit different than the ones that have come in and smashed it on the leaderboard. We definitely plan on doing that, by the way. But we just knew how much we had to learn, and not afraid to learn it. And I guess like the point and the moral of telling you all of that is that you just got to put one foot in front of the other, and you just don't know where it's going to take you. And at the end of the day, as much as Stu and Jay have their affiliate side of their business, what you actually get access to in the training and in the DEA curriculum, it teaches you how to do what we've basically gone and done, which is build your own business alongside that, so that you can be self-sufficient outside of the SFM. I mean, they have six-figure mentors. They want to mentor you to have your dream business. So we're on the journey. We're writing the story as we go. Robbie,
building the plane as you fly it.
Yeah. So Robbie, I don't know if anyone's asked any questions, because we haven't been looking. But
guys, it's Rex.
Hi.
Hello. Oh no, I've got the video up. Hang on, I'll turn it on. I turned it off because we're sitting here eating dinner until we're finished now, and that's fine. I'm really quite disappointed, because until tonight, I thought Kathleen McKay and I were the sexiest things on SFM, but clearly we're not. Now, watching you sit there, and
that's all. That's all it is.
What was that?
It's just a suntan. That's all it is.
Hey, you've got it. I haven't. It's interesting listening to you say how you are now confident about addressing businessmen and so forth. So 12 months ago, you couldn't see yourself in this position now. Is that a fair comment?
Absolutely.
Not something we planned or foresaw at all.
Absolutely.
I look forward to seeing you guys in another 12 months.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
Because it's the thing I love about this whole thing. It's just, and I'm much older than most people in the group, but nonetheless, it's still a progression within yourself and a thing to look forward to, and an exchange with people you have something that's more than just in common with. It's like a strength of a community that we know it is. And I'm always trying to look for words in my broadcasts to how to describe this thing called Six-Figure Mentors. And last time we got stuck into Netflix and completely forgot about the bloody the webinar that we were supposed to be on. But there were two phrases that I think I've repeated before when we were here. One, it's a university of self-development. And secondly, what was the other one? Shit, I can't think now. Anyway, it'll come back to me and I'll come back to it. But you look fat, guys, you're inspirational like so many other people are in the SFM. But I'm just disappointed that, until tonight I thought Kathleen McKay and I were the sexiest thing in the SFM, but we're not clearly. Carry on.
I'll share, Rex, something that we, in that bit of a journey that we explained earlier, something we learned along the way is that I guess we used to look at successful people, and I don't know if you can relate or anyone else can relate, but sometimes you look at people in whatever area, and you just sort of think, I couldn't do what they're doing, or they're just so far up there, like, you know, I'm down here, they're up there. I couldn't do what they do. But what we learn is that, you know what, no one starts there. You know what I mean? No one starts there. I've seen so many speakers and stage speakers at events and that who were incredible speakers, and then quite often in their speech and so forth, they talk about how shy they are, or how afraid they were of talking in front of people or public speaking, and then you watch and hear them, and they're incredible. And the point I'm getting at is that what we learn is that it's only about becoming a little bit better than you were the day before. And it doesn't have to be by much, you know, like when you're 0.1% better tomorrow than you were today, and then the next day after that than you are tomorrow, like compound that over time. And that's where people get incredibly good at something. And so that's kind of a philosophy we hold in the back of our minds and run with, is to just, you know, in this day and age, it's sold to us like the quantum leap is sold to us, isn't it? Like, lose half your body weight in a week, or, you know, like become rich, become rich overnight, or, you know, this quantum leap is sold to us, and of course it's appealing. Who wouldn't want to shortcut to the result? But there is no quantum leap.
Yeah.
That's just,
and it's interesting. It just made me think of something else that, you know, one thing we struggled with as well, like I said, we struggled like finding a customer. We've struggled with the confidence of what we were selling, because we weren't, it just was completely us, so we completely own it. But we felt like we didn't have a story to tell when we first came in. Like, we were telling our story up until SFM, but then we're trying to craft that into our marketing and whatever. And now, like 12 months in, and what we've been able to actually do with the training, what we're going to do with that now is, and this is where we're at the moment. It's like, now we feel like, I guess the best way to put it is like a bit of a product of the product, where we feel like now we can sort of put this story that we've just told you guys into, into our funnel, at the front of our funnel, and sell that as a little bit like when you think like Greg and Fiona, right? They have their, they've done it, you know, they're the laptop lifestyle experts, and they're living it.
They're living it, yeah.
And even Gerard and Chris, after such a short time, they're amazing. It's so good to connect with those guys. You know, they're out there living it, and they're actually living their story. And we feel like we've kind of got to that point in a very, very different way than they have, but with the vision of the company and where they're going. I think we all could do with thinking a little bit broader about what's actually on offer here. It's not just affiliate marketing. There is so much more available to everyone. You know what I mean? So looking ahead in 12 months, yeah, we can't wait to see that too. Gosh knows what it'll look like. Very much.
Still as awesome as ever, probably.
Yeah.
So does anyone have any questions?
Yeah.
Robert, Neville, yeah, if I can. Is that all right?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. That's a great story. Love to hear it. Just wanted to ask about, you mentioned about the breakthroughs you had with the time you had with a platinum event. What things did you learn there that have made you successful to the point you're at now? So what were the actual physical change, the sort of things that made your changed your minds, I suppose, that changed your thinking?
Yeah.
I guess like just
so many things.
Yeah,
I'm trying to nail down a couple.
Look,
Yeah.
As we said earlier, like we'd done a fair bit of personal development and so forth, even before finding SFM. And I guess even online these days, you see so many different posts. You start seeing the same things come around, right? Personally, I would say with Platinum there was a whole other perspective, I think, that we hadn't really seen before. It was was a different way to look at things and a different way of understanding ourselves on a much deeper personal level, which is, I guess, I don't know how much you looked at that, but it's kind of weird because you know, platinum, you're talking about branding and all that sort of thing, but you know, that's where it starts. It starts with you, like inside yourself. What would you
Yeah, I was just going to say, like for me personally, especially being a mum, and like, you know, they're always going to come first. And what tends to happen when you become a mum, and I'm sure all the mums on the call will agree, and probably dad too, but especially mums, is that you kind of lose part of yourself. Like you give so much over to doing a good job that you forget who you are a little bit, and you kind of forget why you do things and all that kind of stuff. And so I don't want to give too much away because it's a really personal journey that people go on in the actual platinum event, and it's worth going into it without knowing too much about what actually goes on. But we can definitely tell you what we got out of it, and that is that we really, really, like for me, I really discovered what it was that drives me every day. Like, why am I a good mum? Why am I a good friend? Why am I a good wife? Like, you know, obviously I'm not good. I do have flaws, many, but you know, the things that I do well, why do I do them well? And what is it that gets me out of bed, if that makes sense? And what we did, and what you learn to do is then lead with that. That makes sense. Like you put that into everything that you do, and you're going to do everything that much better. And for us, it just we really started to realize what kind of business we wanted to have. Not so much what the physical would look like as far as the activities would be, but how it would make us feel and what we wanted to put together, if that makes sense, like the core of it. And then everything else is just a manifestation after that. But when you start leading with that, everything becomes easier because you know, that's probably the biggest thing for me. Yeah. Hey.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's so many things though, so many things. We also realised some of the things we could do more work on as well, but we won't go into those. But yeah, especially doing it as a couple as well, because it's one thing to be doing a business by yourself and you're the only one that's kind of making all the decisions, but when you've got to consider, you know, we're two different people, we're in a relationship together, but we're two different people with two different ideas, and you know, we obviously want the same result, but trying to bring those things together and make sure that we're both building something that we're passionate about. Getting all of that and leading with that is definitely what's made the difference. So I hope that answers your question. Muted.
You're muted out. We can't hear you.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go for it.
Hi.
Hi, how are you going? And well, thanks for sharing tonight. Because you've taken this path where opportunities outside SFM affiliates have cropped up, have you developed a web presence to promote that, or is it a lot of it basically your own self-promotion, if I can put it that way, through your own network contacts and those sorts of things? Or is it a combination of both?
Yeah, I'd say combination. Yeah. So the plan now is to actually obviously direct it definitely more to online. But what we've realised is that by having those conversations with those business owners, we've really started to understand our market. And now we feel like we can go and find those people online and have the same conversations that we've been having online, if that makes sense. But it's definitely...
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And because that was like we said at the start, like that was what we struggled with. That was kind of what we struggled with, is how do we take those offline kind of conversations and like how do we have that conversation online and have like impact with people when they're just reading our stuff, not so much they get to actually speak to us personally one-on-one. So yeah, it's definitely at the moment more one-on-one than what we're doing in our own presence in our own town, but we're now starting to learn so much more about how we can take that conversation online, which is pretty exciting for us, because it's like it's been the thorn in our side the whole year. It's like, oh. So we have got a website, which it's in a bit of an overhaul at the moment, because we evolved so quickly that some of the things that we were talking about doing, we're not doing now.
Yeah.
Or not.
So I looked at your website, brettandmeganonline.com. Is that the one that you're primarily using to promote?
No, that's actually the one.
SFM, yeah.
That's actually the one that we said we built when we got back from.
Okay. Yeah.
That's our YouTube. That's our compliant Google website.
Your compliance site, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So we've got one.
So you have another website then, which is driving some of your non-SFM business then. Yeah.
Yeah. Which will.
And are you using YouTube and that sort of stuff to promote that site as well?
Not yet.
No.
Which one?
Okay.
One.
The one that promotes your alternative businesses. Yeah.
We haven't used YouTube today.
No, we haven't done any marketing for it online yet at all.
Okay. Right.
Just being like face to face, having those conversations, and really, really learning what they're, because you talk about really understanding like the pain points and the understanding the problems that your target market has, and then knowing what their dreams are, and then positioning yourself as the person who can take them there, right? So you've really got to make sure you know those things, and that's something that in the last 4 months we've really learned a lot about by having those conversations in person. So now it's like now we feel like we can take those online, which is a cool place to be in, and we'll be able to use all the websites that we have to promote that. It's just a matter of.
So you've got numerous websites then.
Yeah.
We kind of become website junkies, don't we?
No. Go and scout that. No. So our if you'd like to check out our other website, it's
I'd love to. Yeah.
Mega Media Management. So it's.
Can you put it in the chat box?
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be terrific.
But I'm in the. I just gotta be funny. I'm in the process of building a different one, which will be up in the next couple of weeks. So to more go down, like I said, more go down the line of positioning ourselves online rather than actually talking face to face.
Yeah.
Because it's really designed at that managing people's business and helping them get online. So now it's going to be more about what you asked, getting it online.
Yeah. That's great. Thanks for that.
Okay.
Rex again, guys. What sort of businesses were they that you were consulting to? What sort of business guys and so forth?
Quite a variety.
Yeah, variety. It's interesting. I don't know, you guys all probably heard of the law of attraction and what you attract and that kind of stuff by what you put out there, but I seem to attract people that are perfect for the SFM, which is really frustrating, because it's like I'm talking to them about this other stuff, and then I'm like, oh, but you'd be really good over here. And that's another kind of wake-up call we had, where it's like, right, once we get this happening, these are the perfect type of businesses. But they're all sort of people who they're mostly one-man bands. So they'll have like there's a beauty consultant, but she's really, really passionate about organic skincare and organic makeup. And she started talking to me about, when I started talking about social media and what she shares and things like that, she was really heavily trying to sell these products. And with her whole Facebook page would just sell. And I was like, yeah, but what about all the knowledge that you have, all the awesome information you could share as well? And she hadn't really thought about that. So now she's talking about having a blog and really, taking that knowledge that she has and sharing it, because she's learned from working with us that to get engagement, you need to share value, right? So so yeah, they're all perfect candidates for what we do. We've also got another lady who she works with children in schools, teaching them etiquette and manners and how to respect each other and all that kind of stuff. That was our first client, and she is just a dream to work with. She's so passionate about what she does and so eager to learn, like really, really wants to learn this stuff because she wants to spread this message so wide. And I guess the point I'm answering your question, there's lots of different types of business, but they seem to be people like that. And I think it's because of how I'm talking about it and how I'm introducing what we do, that I kind of get these people coming up and talking to me afterwards. I actually go to this one business networking lunch once a month. There's 60 businesses there. It's crazy. They all get together and have lunch for a couple of hours, and we all kind of get a chance to speak to one another and that kind of thing, obviously. But I always end up talking to people that are really, really passionate about what they do. It's not like lawyers and dentists, accountants, and I mean, sorry if there's any of those online, they might be really passionate. But there just seem to be people who they just have a really big message in what they do, even if they're just like a beautician or whatever, which is really awesome. And I think that comes down from being yourself. Like if you're going to go and talk to anyone anywhere, if you're really authentic, you're going to attract people that are like you. You know what I mean? Like attracts like, and I've just kind of seemed to be attracting people like that, people that are really passionate about what they're doing. But
I think you said it, authentic, and your passion that comes across, because there's so much bullshit out there.
There is, yeah. Yeah, there is. Especially in networking meetings.
Wow.
If you've been to any. They all like to blow smoke up each other's, But
so anyway, we've got a few others which are, I guess, along the health, in the health line.
All different sorts.
Yeah.
They're all passionate.
So
they're all really passionate, though. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. But we don't have like a particular niche or anything like that.
We're not targeting any particular.
Just anyone that has, and you know what, it's probably because of how I introduced it. It's like, if you've got a really, if you've got a business that you're passionate about and you want to, use social media to attract your customers, and you share whatever it is that you do. And I sort of, talk a little bit about that and obviously say, well, who do you struggle to get engagement on your page? Do you have people, commenting on your things and sharing and coming to you? Do you actually get a result from your social media? And most of them say no, and it's just because they don't know how to have that conversation, and neither did we. But I tell you, by teaching it, we have learnt it much, much, much better ourselves, which is really cool.
And then obviously, us being able to learn that, we can take that back, or we have taken that back to promoting of SFM, because it's go back to the start. We needed to do that to promote SFM. So now we've gone around in a circle. We've learnt that, taught it, and then apply it.
Yeah.
So can I also ask then, are you, with the clients that you're working with, are you advertising online on their behalf, or are you simply talking to, creating a web presence for them and then teaching them basically maybe how to funnel their business, or so what sort of advice or what is the nature of the service then that you provide to your clients?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we initially went down the road of looking at setting them up, like getting them a really good congruent message across all of their platforms and their website, and making sure they have a strong presence that they're proud of. So as far as helping them with their branding and all that kind of stuff. And then taking that into basically helping them manage it. We were going to manage it, but now we're actually getting them to that point. So there's a lot of consulting that goes on there, obviously, a lot of conversations that happen. We've actually got a full-time graphic designer working with us now who does all the branding, which is really cool because that takes a lot of time. And she's much cleverer than we are. So we hand all of that to her. She kind of gets all of that sorted. And we sort of work with them to make sure that what they put their best foot forward. So we get them to that point. And that's kind of where we were then going to take that over and then do the content and actually do the posting for them. And we just went, that's not, you know. And the other thing is that these guys are so passionate about what they do. I started thinking, there's no way I'm ever going to be as passionate about your business as you are. So you know, they're better off doing it. And here's the other thing that happened is we were too expensive. I couldn't afford it. And it was almost getting to the point where they were like, well, I'm either going to do it or not do it. And so we wanted to make sure that we could continue to serve them, but also make sure that it didn't jeopardize our own, you know, day-to-day, how we want our life to be. And so I said to the clients that we had at the time, and we had 3 clients at the time, I said to them all, I said, look, now that I've got you to this point and, you know, it's going to cost you X amount per month, how would you feel if you paid that to us once and we taught you how to do it? I mean, it's a no-brainer, right? And they were like, yeah, we'd much rather that. And so, and I said, right, leave that with us. We're going to come back to you in about 4 weeks' time. We're going to take everything that you've got now. We're going to show you how you can take that and explode your brand in social media. And so that's kind of, then we went away and created pretty much whatever we were going to do for them as far as the posting and the managing and, you know, whatever knowledge we could extract from ourselves and from our training and from what we'd learned from everyone else in the community, and put that into a workshop sort of format where they sit in and we then say, right, this is how you take that and you apply it. And it's been really, really well received. We love it.
So more strategy, because obviously
more strategy around posting it.
We figured for ourselves and just bearing in mind our own lifestyle, there's only so many people we could take on if we're going to manage this stuff.
Yeah, that was the other.
And that was the lifestyle that we weren't aiming for either. So that was a part of the decision on our side for transitioning to what Megan just explained, because then we're not limited. We're not limited by how many people we can help, how many business we can have contact with and dealings with.
And we don't have to do it forever. Essentially.
And I think the great thing about your model too is that you're actually empowering your clients, and that also increases the possibility of word of mouth. That, you know, this is what I've learned, and they're not dependent on you. You know, so, you know, thanks for the memories. Let's move on. And no, good model. Thank you.
Yeah, so we've created a private Facebook group for all the people that have come to our workshops, so that we can continue to kind of help them in
create your own community, eh?
As a group. Because otherwise we're just going to have emails and phone calls all day long. So it's just about kind of and again, we learned that from Robbie and Sandra. You know, they've got amazing Down Under group. Everyone's in there helping, and one person asks a question, everyone sees it, so everyone gets the information, and that's why we kind of come up with that idea, because we eventually want to get to a position where we can just be obviously selling DA and having that laptop lifestyle that we set out to have. I guess like we just felt like sharing our story would kind of give you guys like a little bit more of a broader view of what's actually on offer, because sometimes you can just get on that one track of doing the affiliate side of things, which is awesome, and you definitely want to focus on one thing. But if you're struggling with that, or if you're struggling with your marketing budget or any aspect of it, look at what you've learned so far and
be resourceful.
See what you can do with what you have. You know what I mean?
Because
never know where it's going to take you.
There's a lot of options. There's a lot of options that you have based on all the training, the community we have, the whole system.
Yeah.
A lot of options.
Yeah. So we would really love to, you know, help anyone who wants to kind of do anything like that, or if there's anything we can help anyone with, like just reach out. Like we're really keen to see as many people succeed as we can. It's awesome when people, you know, I mean, we've already seen some really new people get their first sales, and Rex got some this week. Like, it's so cool to see people succeeding.
Yeah,
but
3 in a day.
there's so many ways that you can succeed. There really is. Like, being online, there's just so many ways that you can. And just with the training that we have access to, there's so much you can do with it, guys. There really is. Really is.
Megan, can I ask a question?
Love you too.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hey, how you going, guys?
Good.
Just today, I just got up Amazon on my website for the first time.
Cool.
Have you guys looked out at Amazon?
Not as a business model per se, but we have looked at putting like the little store, because we've read so many books and we recommend books to people all the time, and we've kind of been thinking that that's something we could add, as in, you know, just to have that there. But no, we haven't done anything with it yet. It's definitely an option though, right? So how are you going with it?
I've just put it up today for the first time. I'll definitely update.
Okay.
But if anybody else is whoever else is out there, has anybody else done it that's on the call right now? And how are you finding it?
Crickets.
You've got to unmute.
Looks like you're going to pioneer that one there, Margaret.
You might have to come back to the rest of us.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for that. I just wondered how other people were getting along with that, because I mean, I was way overdue. I should have done this a long time ago, but things happen and you just get away from things. And to be honest, my site was down for a little while there, probably about almost 5 months. Yeah. Just about. And they had a problem getting all my content from the old site over to the new one that I changed the name with. And I was down for a long time there, so I'm really overdue on a lot of stuff right now. But it's so easy to get disheartened and throw the towel in, but it is about carrying on, getting back up and pushing through, because for a start, you invest such a lot of money at the start. You don't want to see that go by the wayside, do you? So you find a way to pick yourself up and push on. Like I just felt like giving up at one stage, but I'm back in the running. So thankfully,
are you coming to
No, without a doubt, I want to come there without a doubt, but I'll just see what the universe does for me, Megan. Yeah, we'll see how we go. I'd love to come there.
Awesome.
And when are we getting another song, guys?
Not tonight.
That rocked, honestly, that rocked. Yeah, I didn't know you guys could sing that good. You guys are great singers. Yeah, thanks for that, guys. I just thought I'd ask how other people were going with their Amazon, if they've got it set up on their sites.
Yeah, we haven't yet, but it's definitely a good, like we said, like if you're going to recommend stuff to people, like in your blogs and things like that, you may as well be having them buy them from you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Was it easy to set up? Was it easy to set up?
I went through. They had a YouTube thing that I followed that Amazon has up there on YouTube, and it shows you step by step. Very easy.
Cool. Oh, good luck. Can't wait to hear how you go now.
Yeah, me too. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So, Robbie.
Cool.
So quiet.
They're all taken aback with what you've shared. It's been awesome.
Well, I hope that it was valuable. As I said, like we really are quite pumped after coming back last week. But it's good to share that energy with you guys, definitely.
And we're definitely looking forward to chat with as many as possible in Melbourne.
Yeah.
So hope most of you, at least, are coming. there's always so much to get out of it. Hey, like whether it's in the event or outside or at the bar or whatever, there's always, I mean, for us, we come away from each of the events with, a multiple of, golden nuggets and so forth. But, and usually particularly one specific thing which would stand out than anything else, and sometimes it's simply a one-liner even that just has a massive change for us and a different perspective and really moves us forward, and keeps us growing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I just want to say, guys, my mind is absolutely buzzing with other ideas. So you can count on having a conversation with me in Melbourne.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Maybe you can have your own little session there.
You will book a room or something or other. No, that's terrific. A fantastic share tonight. Thank you.
No worries. And when we get our new site up, we'll share it in the community so you can check it out. It's sort of a work in progress, but you know what? That's the thing. Just got to keep evolving, right? Just keep. Exactly. Never know what what step you take, where it's going to go. That's kind of the crux of it, really. One other thing I was just going to say to you guys as well, what's made a big difference is, and obviously we connected with people at the events, but also like finding people within the community to mastermind with. We sort of set up, there was a few of the other girls and I kind of set up a small group. We were all kind of thinking similar. Not that we were doing the same stuff, but we were just kind of thinking along the same lines as what we were. And we just started bouncing ideas off each other. It's only like once a fortnight, a couple of times we got together every week, but it's only a few of us. It's only like 4 of us, but I just found that so valuable, just to have someone where you think of something, because you can't go to your mates, right? They don't get it. And even like sometimes we would think of something and then we just want to bounce it off someone else. And rather than like throwing it out there in the community and getting all these, different like things, but just having that small group to know that you can just go to them. And the other thing we used it for as well was accountability, was to just sort of say, look, I'm going to get this done this week or whatever. Because that's when you work for yourself at home, that's something a lot of people can struggle with is actually getting stuff done. It's like, I can do it tomorrow. There's no boss, right, telling you when to do it. So that was another big thing I forgot to mention was having that small mastermind. It was only for a couple of months, but it changed everything, because if I thought of something and I just wanted to run it by someone, I'd just like send a message, hey, have you got a minute, and run it by them, and priceless, absolutely priceless. And there is abundance of people to connect with in the community. So Melbourne will bring that for you, because you just never know who you're going to connect with. Definitely. Cool. But yeah, we'll have a beer. We'll have a chat. Well, you can have a beer. I'll have one.
So does anyone else have any questions?
No, just a big thank you.
And ditto. Fantastic, guys. Thank you. Inspirational.
Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No worries. We'll see you all in Melbourne. And
We will.
Awesome.
And next week
See you,
we've got Dee Smith on the call.
Oh, excellent. That would be great.
Yep.
He's
Talking about Pinterest.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
Sorry, I just unmuted myself. I will have a webcam set up for next week, so I don't have one. You might want to see me. So I'm just going to go over just basics of Pinterest. So I was going to do a little bit of a presentation and just give you an overview of why actually I'm going to convince you why you need to have a presence on Pinterest with your business. So Robbie's kindly agreed to letting me get on and just go through Pinterest with you next week. What I wouldn't mind though is if there are any areas of Pinterest or things that you want me to cover, it'd be great if you could just post it in the Facebook page just to make sure I cover it. That's
No worries.
okay.
No worries.
Okay.
Cool.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yay.
Anyway, I missed the start of this call. I only just got home from work, so I've only been on for about 30 minutes, but what I've heard was awesome. So thanks very much, Brett and Megan. It was great.
And it's
Very
recorded, so you'll be able to listen to it again.
Yeah, it's pretty much how I listen to a lot of the Down Under calls. I have to
Yeah.
find some time to listen to the replay.
I should actually get it up tomorrow because I've got tomorrow off, so no worries.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, we really enjoy the replays as well. Absolutely.
No worries. Have a good evening. Enjoy the rest of your week. And
Good night,
for those going to
everybody.
Melbourne, we'll see you there.
Good night.
Awesome.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.